The Senate Committee on Governance and Finance, the June 20th edition. We have a pretty heavy load today as we're going to get right into it. We'd like to be able to take care of some housekeeping. We no longer are going to have number 7 on the consent calendar. Number 7 will be file item number 7 will be a regular action item today. We have one item on the consent calendar today. That's number 9, file item number 9, AB 2238. Just a heads up to our subcommittee, we have 25 up to 30 bills next week. So we are planning to be here through the dinner hour, so it's going to be some good times. And then, as everyone remembers, we have August 8th hearing on tax levies, which we're looking at about a bill load of 10 to 12, plus Senator Morlock's favorite bill. We're going to be hearing we're going to have our second info hearing on the service tax that Senator Morlock loves. Am I right, Senator?
Could be.
All right, Hasty, there we go. Hot deal. But again, thank you all, and just want to welcome the Vice Chair and Mr. Morlock here as our subcommittee thus far. I know we have a lot of members here. Why don't we start with Mr. Daly? Mr. Daly has 2 items, file item number 1, AB 448, as well as file item 19, AB 3068. I want to say thank you so much to Mr. Daly for all of his work on these important issues. And we also have Ms. Quirk-Silva here as well, and welcome both Assembly members to the committee, and grateful that you are tag teaming on these important issues.
Thank you so much. As you mentioned, this bill is jointly authored by Ms. Quirk-Silva and myself, and then we have 3 witnesses, and our goal is to keep it brief and focused. Thank you, Mr. Chair and members. This bill establishes the Orange County Housing Trust, a public-private effort to reduce homelessness in Orange County through the development of permanent supportive housing. That is the focus. Last month, the Orange County Grand Jury released a report based on a study of homelessness in the region. Entitled, "Where There's a Will, There's a Way," the report highlights the effectiveness of permanent supportive housing in ending homelessness for individuals and families. A recent UC Irvine study found that Orange County could save at least $40 million a year on health care and law enforcement costs, among other expenses, by moving these homeless from the streets into permanent supportive housing. Currently, Orange County has a total of about 2,500 units of a permanent supportive housing, all of which are at full capacity. That is the need. We need substantially more units, and that is the goal of this effort. In order to ensure that sufficient numbers of permanent supportive housing units are built, the Orange County government and the 34 cities within Orange County would like a single-purpose joint powers authority that will serve as a convener of all stakeholders and collaborators. The trust will serve as a vehicle for accomplishing this objective by acting as a financing and funding entity for the development of supportive housing. With me is the bill's joint author, Assemblymember Quirk-Silva, and after Ms. Quirk-Silva's presentation, we have 3 additional witnesses who would like to speak.
Thank you so much. Assemblywoman, welcome.
Thank you so much, Senator, and thank you, Assemblymember Daly. I'm very proud to be able to present as a joint author AB 448, along with also co-authors from Orange County. We have Senator John Morlock and Senator Janet Wynn and other Senator Pat Bates that have also signed on, I believe, the entire Orange County delegation. But speaking as a former teacher for 30 years, mother of 4, I have become increasingly very concerned about the homeless issue that we see not only across the state of California, but also in Orange County. We know that there have been many roadblocks and also barriers to providing housing, permanent housing for Orange County residents, and there has been much frustration, particularly as we saw our Santa Ana riverbed being a home to several thousand at a point, and that has recently been cleared, but when we clear that space, we know that there's more to do. There's multiple solutions to homelessness, and AB 448 is part of the tool bank as far as permanent housing. We know that we have to continue with our transitional housing, our emergency assessment, and I also just recently had the opportunity to walk our railroad with Judge harder. And we did see encampments and many other things that you would be very surprised to see on our railroad. So with that, we're happy to join with the Orange County delegation to work together in a important bipartisan effort to find solutions and to long-term housing. So with that, we ask for your support.
Thank you so much, Assembly members. And again, just want to say thank you, both of you, as well as the entire delegation, for the collaboration and the work on this. This is one of the most challenging issues that our communities face, and grateful for your leadership. Before we go to our witnesses, we'd like to be able to establish a quorum. Ms. Lanchester, if you could please do a roll call.
McGuire.
Here.
McGuire present. Wynn. Here. Wynn present. Bell. Here. Bell present. Hernandez. Hertzberg. Lara. Morlock. Present. Morlock present.
Thank you, Ms. Lanchester. A quorum has been established. We typically have 2 witnesses, but because this is such an important issue, we're going to have 3 today. We're going to ask each of our witnesses to please keep your testimony to 2 minutes. Ma'am, welcome. If you could just provide us your first and last and your affiliation.
My name is Barbara Del Glaze, and I'm a city council member of Huntington Beach.
Thank you so much. We're grateful to be here, Councilwoman.
Thank you, Chair McGuire, and esteemed members of the Senate Committee on Governance and Finance. My name is Barbara Del Glaze. I'm speaking on behalf of the Association of California Cities, Orange County. I'm also a city councilwoman and former mayor of Huntington Beach, and it is my honor to be before you today and support in passing Assembly Bill 448, form an Orange County Housing Trust. Orange County is in the midst of a worsening homeless crisis, with the county experiencing a 54% increase in the last 4 years of the number of unsheltered homeless individuals living on our streets. This especially is present in our coastal communities, such as my home in Huntington Beach. I am a supporter of permanent supportive housing by nonprofit service providers, but there are obstacles to overcome from simply wanting and believing in permanent supportive housing and actually seeing in being it built in our communities. AB 448 could address some of these concerns. First, it could help make projects more financially viable without burdening the individual cities and their general funds. The trust could also accomplish this by helping coordinate and streamline existing funding sources and grant opportunities. The trust would also be able to receive private dollars under AB 448, which will help coordinate the efforts of our business community and provide flexible dollars to make these projects a reality.
30 seconds, Councilwoman.
Thank you. Second, 448 may help us overcome the barrier of collaboration and necessary thoughtful and successfully go state housing and homeless dollars become available. Orange County has competed way too long against itself and is looking to have the dollars come back to Orange County so we can build and serve coordinating body to build permanent supportive housing. The homegrown solution for our homeless crisis, it has been drafted to specifically address our own unique issues, uniquely to Orange County. I ask the committee to help us do that by granting unnecessary legislative authority found in AB 448 to be effective. I respectively request an aye vote. Thank you for your time.
Councilwoman, we are so appreciative that you would come all the way up to Sacramento. Thank you so much for being here and for being part of this fantastic team. We're very grateful. Sir, we welcome you. If you can please give us your first and last, your organization. I don't mean to be rude. I have to go present in transportation. I am going to turn the gavel over to the Vice Chair, but we welcome you to committee, sir, and I apologize.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yeah. Well done. My name is George Searcy. I'm a Senior Vice President of Jamboree Housing, one of the largest nonprofit developers of affordable housing and permanent supportive housing in the state of California. Those of you who are familiar with the Hotel Barry here in the Capitol is a conversion to permanent supportive housing. That's one of our projects. We have over 500 units of permanent supportive housing throughout the state. We're pleased to be here in support of this effort to create a housing trust fund for Orange County, largely because we realize that there's a crisis. We've realized that for a long time in Orange County, that the needs of this vulnerable population are not being addressed. We were one of the co-funders of the UCI study on cost effectiveness in cooperation with the United Way of Orange County. We strongly encourage your consideration of this bill, and inasmuch as we've committed to build 1,400 units of permanent supportive housing in the next 3 years in Orange County. That is an extremely aggressive program. It lacks sufficient gap financing to make those projects real at this point. The County of Orange ACCOC, which has organized the city support for this effort, all have come together to identify this as the gap funding source to make those projects real. We really need, the county needs 2,700 units to fulfill its goal. We've committed to over half of that production. And part of my responsibility for Jamboree Housing is permanent supportive housing, so I'm anxious to get on with the work, and we appreciate your support for this effort.
Thank you. Any witnesses in support?
I am the third speaker that
Okay.
they spoke of. So, hello, my name,
One of you want to stand there or you want to sit down?
if you would prefer me to sit, I can.
Go for it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Kelsey Brewer, and I am the Ledge Affairs Manager for the Association of California Cities, Orange County. We are the sponsor of AB 448. In February of 2018, the association very aggressively stepped into the topic of homelessness in Orange County by releasing a regional 2,700 unit plan that we believed would end chronic homelessness in Orange County. Since we released that plan 4 months ago, our cities have risen to the occasion and identified 2,000 sites out of the 2,700 units. The will to get these projects done is present, but as George and Barbara have both mentioned, the funding gaps that exist are still our greatest challenge. The Orange County Housing Trust will be the regional entity that will bring the cities and the county to the same table to help coordinate and leverage both existing and future state dollars to bring these units into fruition. AB 448 is a solution specifically for Orange County. It has Orange County support, and I humbly ask that you vote today in support of AB 448. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other witnesses in support? Please come forward, state your name, affiliation.
Good morning. Tanya Robinson Taylor, representing Kaiser Permanente in support.
Thank you.
Good morning. Amy Jenkins on behalf of the Orange County Board of Supervisors. They're taking the bill up on Tuesday, but I've been authorized to say we're in strong support. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair and members. Moira Top on behalf of Orange County Business Council in strong support.
Thank you. Any other witnesses in support? Any witnesses to testify in opposition? Please come forward. Any witnesses to comment in opposition? Please come forward. Seeing none, colleagues,
Yes.
bring it back.
Madam Chair.
Mr. Hertzberg, Senator Hertzberg.
Thank you. I see that you did add my name. Thank you. I was going to ask for that. I just want to say that, we obviously have a myriad of public policy approaches to deal with this very significant challenge of homelessness and housing, and you've certainly been, although I don't directly represent your county, every law that we pass affects your county, as Mr. Morlock will tell us all the time in this committee. But I just think that what you've done here is great, to bring in Judge Carter and bring in all the 34 cities of the county together to try to have a big picture think about this. Hopefully this will provide a framework to also bring in private sector philanthropy into this process and an umbrella. And I know often it's difficult with local governments who, one of the NIMBYism issues that is often, whether it's appropriate or inappropriate, that's argued about this, of taking a countywide comprehensive approach. So I was going to ask, but I see you've already done that, because when I met with you, Mr. Daly, I asked that you include me and Assemblymember Quicksilva as a co-author of this, even though I'm not from your county, but someone who really cares deeply about this issue, has been around for a long time. I just wanted to give you a big, gigantic shout out and to thank you for providing this leadership. And maybe other counties, I know that Chairman Bell and his committee, he has done this housing trust years ago. He talked to me about it with respect to his work way back when. And it's visionary, and I just wanted to have no other comments other than just to say thank you, and thank you for including me as a co-author. I'm happy to help in any way possible. I appreciate your leadership, both of your leaderships, with respect to this measure. And I'd like the bill.
Thank you. Senator Morlock. Okay, I'm going to take that back from you.
It's a big project to deal with the homeless, and it's a long-term project. And when a when Federal Judge David Carter jumped in and grabbed the tiger by the tail, it's made things real interesting. But I think we're building a model for other counties, and I'm just excited that we've had leadership come from the ground up, and we're all working together, business sector, nonprofits, government. So this has got so much potential. It's not perfect, but we're working on the rough edges. But I want to thank the author for, allowing us to use his bill, and I'll second the motion.
Thank you. Before I entertain for the votes, I just want to also echo my appreciation to both of Assemblymember Daly and Quirk-Silver for your leadership, and also all the cities and the county coming together. We can't do this without all of us putting our hands together and coming together. And so your leadership is greatly appreciated. Since I've got my council member from Huntington Beach, I got to give a shout out to Huntington Beach as well. Once they were, they were up front at the table, gave their comments, and also have already expressed how they want to formulate, the homeless populations and housing in their city as well. So they've been up front, and they've been out there and working on it. And so I appreciate all the cities, especially those particularly in the 34th Senate District, who has really weathered this and has come together. And so we really appreciate the leadership, and with ACCOC as well, because these things don't happen overnight. Problems don't also happen overnight as well. And now we are coming together united. And so, like Senator Morlock stated, it's not perfect, but I think we will get there, and we will definitely solve the problems. Because what I've seen in my district is, once you disband the riverbed and the Civic Center, which is also in your district, Assemblyman, they're just going right to the neighborhood. They're going right onto the streets. That doesn't solve anything. Just because we don't allow a concentration in one area, now they're going everywhere. And we're getting calls in our office of people not feeling safe walking on sidewalks, not feeling safe walking downtown Santa Ana, because now it's not a one concentrated area. So we have to get this problem solved for the safety of everybody in the county. And so again, really appreciate it. This bill has been moved. It's due pass 2 rules. Please call for the vote.
Can I just add one more thing, Madam Chair? The other thing I wanted to note that I want to applaud both of you for, if you take a look at this, at the co-authors of this measure, it's completely bipartisan. So it's just another example at a time, challenging times, that folks often want to talk about that all of us are working together to solve a significant problem in an elegant way. Thank you.
Before we call the vote, I'm sorry, would you like to make any conclusion remarks?
We appreciate all the positive comments. The cities of Orange County have asked for this vehicle. The fact that the County of Orange government was represented here today to speak in favor is a major step. And so this is a vehicle for it's right. We don't take, this is one of the most challenging problems that society faces. This will be a voluntary, cooperative effort. As Mr. Hertzberg mentioned, this becomes a way for the private sector, for philanthropists to become involved and to leverage all the resources for hopefully a very positive outcome. So thank you all very much. And this is hopefully a big step forward. Thank you.
Thank you. Please call for the vote.
McGuire. Wynn.
Aye.
Wynn, aye. Bell. Aye. Bell, aye. Hernandez. Aye. Hernandez, aye. Hertzberg. Aye. Hertzberg, aye. Laura. Morlock. You have 4-0.
4-0. We'll keep the roll call open for the rest of the other members.
Good. Thank you.
Thank you, Senators.
Thank you. Thanks.
The next item we have is Senator Tom Daly, item number 19, AB 3068.